Okay, hello everyone, I'm back, and today I want to discuss a project I found online, and it's awesome. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. So I'll pretty much give an overview. Some Swedish guy out there wants to make a Nintendo-style console called the Famicube, and it's already somewhat coming along. Like, there's a lot of documentation on it, and there's even a game engine for it. Now, the console isn't like a real console, it's kind of just like on the computer right now. I don't really know how to explain it, but I'll show it to y'all. It's really sick. Okay, well this part here is true. I agree with that. Like, I'm a game developer myself, and yeah, that's pretty true. Our mind seemed like a good puzzle, and being efficient with pixels and data be satisfying in that way. But I do really believe that restrictions can benefit you as an artist, at least when it comes to staying consistent within a certain graphical style. This is something I didn't really see before, but I kind of want to look at it. I've never heard of Deluxe Paint 3, but that sprite there looks awesome. That looks like something you would see in a Super Nintendo game. I really like that. Now, you see, if I could find those games, I would play them. I don't know, and I've heard... now I'm hearing good things about this Deluxe Paint, so I kind of want to play with it. I kind of want to see it. Okay, this part here is pretty facts. I do agree with that. I think, honestly, here, I like how the one on the left looks. Here, I think both of them look good. The reason I like black outlines in the game is I just like the way it looks, to be honest. The contrast between the first and final one is pretty stark. I think the fifth one looks a lot better. It kind of looks like an RPG game, but it has like randomly generated worlds like Minecraft and Terraria. That's so cool. That's true. I agree with this part though. Yeah, the case of like, let's say the PS4, it's just kind of like black and kind of shaped like a rectangle. Like, I do think that the console cases back in the day looked better. Like, the Nintendo GameCube, the GBA, you know, the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Atari 2600, those all looked cool. Now, this part about floppy disks, that's facts. Imagine if you could put a game, an EXE, on a floppy disk and then play it on some old computer. That'd be awesome. I'd still have to do a video about that. Okay, this part here I disagree with. The reason being is that if you have a low amount of memory like the Atari 2600, only make like games like basic arcade games, maybe something like a basic adventure game, but if you have a lot, you could make something like the next big 3D game or Minecraft 2.0 or something like that. This part here is facts. If Nintendo released the Famicube, that would be amazing. I would definitely develop for it. However, at the same time, it would probably be scalped hard, just like the NES Mini was, the SNES Mini was, the Nintendo Switch was, the PlayStation 5 was, and also the PlayStation Portal is very scalped now. If you're a scalper and you're watching my channel, stop it. Stop your scalping. If you ask why, it's because it's greedy. You're literally buying up a lot of stock others could want to actually use, yeah, and then just reselling it. Look, why? Why would someone do that? That's terrible. That's terrible and it's greedy. Look at the controller, though. It pretty much looks like a mechanized version of the Famicom. Starters, the select button has been moved up to here, and then the L and R buttons are right here. I kind of hope this actually comes to fruition, except maybe not called the Famicube, because I don't think this guy would be able to make it called the Famicube. Maybe it would be called something different, like the Family Cube or something like that. But for legal reasons, I don't think he can call it that. To the maker of this, where is the AV/RF? And here's an old prototype of the joypad. Here he says the right D-pad is just B, A, and L and R. Okay, so then why even have the second D-pad if it's just gonna replicate that? Like, what? It kind of looks like the Virtual Boy in my opinion. One thing I wish that would be added is like 2-player support, because I've actually used the FC Builder engine a little bit. As far as I'm aware, it doesn't have 2 players; it only has 1. After this, I'm going to explain how to make a Famicube game. Awesome! I really want to see Nintendos. Like, if the guy who made this is watching this, please send me Nintendos. I really want to see it. I hope this gets released. Oh, yo. Imagine if there was a mouse and a keyboard. That would be awesome. Here's a palette mock-up. It's really just Mario. Mario is now a woman named Marina. And look how much better that looks. That looks amazing. Metroid had an enemy named Zoomer. That is just a what moment. That looks very good, though, to be honest. I really don't think you should use Nintendo, especially if you're going to try to sell it for money. That would be a very stupid idea. As much as I find this project amazing, don't brand it with Nintendo, please. If any of those are generic, the whole thing falls directly into the abyss of meaningless. Well, not really. It can still mean something. Just use your own brand. Unless you're not releasing this and you're just making, like, it on the computers for free, then yeah, then I guess you could brand it. but maybe not. Or you could just write it yourself. Oh yeah. Oh, that's from like 10 years ago. I remember hearing about it. It could have been cool if I don't know. I remember it sucking. Like if it had actually been good, they probably would have made like 2 sequels, but now it's kind of done. So now I've gone over the website. Now I'm going to get in on how to make a game for the FamiCube. That's right, an official game. That's right, a game. I mean, there's an itch.io page with the FC Builder. Let's go to it. fcbuilder.itch.io/fc-builder. The games are made in Lua, which today I learned a little bit on how to make a game for this. Here's the Lua API reference. I would also recommend learning Lua, at least a little bit. Just so you know how to do like if functions and while functions, and this offsets all subsequent drawing operations by the vector xy, useful for implementing scrolling effects. Okay, I'd kind of like to know how to use it to make a scroll effect. My next video is probably going to be building a platformer with this. Okay, so the FC Builder has a couple things: the code, sprites, map, sound, and music. It's pretty much kind of like FL Studio. In a way, you have your instruments here, kind of how you want it to sound with all this. I mean, the first thing about this tile set is that you can't use index 0, 0. I guess that's just like an empty tile set. Okay, so to make a sprite, what you do is you select any of these that you want to use, except for the top left one, and then you draw something in it. It's the biggest the tiles can be, 16 by 16, chances are, if you want to make something kind of big, you're going to have to use multiple tiles. Okay, there's a terrible looking target. Now, I'm going to explain how to use the draw functions. There are 64 colors in the palette. Can export as a standalone if you like, or you can run it. So for me, I don't know if running does anything. Press project and export to standalone. It'll ask you where you want to make the output directory. You choose where you want it. That'll close. Let's open it. And there, that just makes it one color. Explain how to make variables. It's a lot like Python. You just name the variable, and then you name the variable, and then you set what it's equal to, like this. Very simple. An if statement, you just write if and then what you want to check if it's true or not. For here, room equals 1. You have to put 2 equals there. I think it has something to do with Boolean. After that, you write a then, and then you put your code here. Then you put another end, and that's how it's done. If you want to use the buttons, you can either check button down or button is down. You can either use button down to check if it's pressed, or button is down to check if it's being held. Here is which IDs there are. You have to use the ID as the argument. So I'm going to use 10 because that is start. Now here's the draw text function. The draw text function takes a bunch of arguments. I mean, you can set where you want it to write, which color it is, and then also what to write. So I'm just going to write target shooter, because that's the name of the demo that I'm making. There we go. So to make a comment in Lua, you have to put 2 hyphens like that. If you want to change a variable to something else, you have to write it like this. The variable equals the variable minus whatever you want to change it by, or plus, or times, or division. I don't know, but I think so. It should work. My game's not running, so I'm wondering what I screw up now. The error was that I didn't put a comma there. Okay, so my 2 errors with the code is that I did not have a comma here. Second error is that I did not have the integer which represents the color of the text. Okay, so for the draw sprite, the index of the sprite you want to draw, along with where the x and the y should go, there are 2 floating points. One for the width and one for the height. They flipped on the x and y axis. Okay, so how you make a random number, you have to call the math.randomSeed with an argument. Usually, I did os.time. And then you set the variable to equal math.random, and then you can put a lower and an upper. If you don't have lower or an upper, generate a number between 0 and 1. With an upper, it'll make the number as high as the upper limit. So like if the upper is like 7, then it will generate a number as high as 7. With the lower, it'll generate a number anywhere from the lower to the upper. So here I have 1 to 224. Okay, so now here's how you make music. Pretty much what you have to do first is go to the sound, and then you place down some notes. I know it looks kind of bad, but like that, there we go. There, now you have the first pattern. Actually play this first to play music with the pattern that you want. There we go. Of course, it does stop after a little while, so we officially have music in the game now. Awesome. Make a quick sound effect like that. There, now you have a gun sound. However, if you call the play music again, it'll stop the music, so you have to change it to play sound. To make a different level, pretty much what you have to do, remember that all levels are 20 by 15 blocks, and it's zero-based. So once you've made your levels, call your draw map function. Say the cells that you want it to start at, so if it's 0, 0, that means top left. 1, 1 means it'll be starting to draw on the top of the screen. And then 16 by 16, 16 cells by 16 cells. But one thing I just learned about the map, you can't have tiles over where you want to display your cursor, because if you do, your sprite will be drawn behind. That is something I learned just now. As far as I'm aware, this is also the first publicly available Famicube game. I'm not too sure on that, so I'm going to have to look. Now look how awesome this looks. Yeah, if the Famicube existed, I would definitely expect it to look like this. That's awesome. It's even talked about on Nintendo Life. To be honest, I agree with Shiryu here. This is probably one of the most awesome parts of it all. Someone actually made the Famicube. Here's the first Famicube game that I've ever seen. This may even be the first Famicube game ever made and actually released. Now, of course, I had to put the project in there. So if any of y'all want to download it, go right ahead. Maybe edit it, play with it. And just like that, this is the first Famicube game ever publicly released. Before I go, I have one more thing to say. I haven't known about it for very long. I was just looking for retro game engines and I came across this. So I downloaded it and I really like it. So that's all. Subscribe for more and maybe next episode I will make a better game. See y'all soon. Peace.